Welcome back, Boxcar Media. Have you ever tripped out on this verse in the Bible? It's in Deuteronomy 22:10. It says, "You shall not plow an ox and a donkey together." Now, it's speaking about not to be unequally yoked. But what does it mean? On the surface, it looks like an old agricultural rule or a farming term, but it's really about alignment. A yoke was a wooden beam that you attached across the necks of two beasts with the sole purpose of plowing a field, going in the same direction, same effort to get the work done. You see, a yoke was designed to multiply force, to multiply effort, to get things done. And this verse is basically warning us not to be yoked with somebody or something or someone who is not going in the same direction as you are. Because, see, an ox is strong and steady, whereas an ass is stubborn and sometimes unwilling to put in as much work. Because, to be frank, an ox and an ass are built different. They have different purposes. And so when you talk about being unequally yoked, you're really talking about not being aligned with someone or something that you're attached to. You see, that's the real meaning behind this verse. Not to be unequally yoked is fundamental to your growth and to your experience in life. I've seen this play out in real time, and I'm sure you have too. There is this example I want to share. I have a friend who will remain nameless. But see, this woman caught his eye, and she was beautiful. And she visually looked like everything he wanted in a woman. And so without doing any proper vetting, he attached himself to this woman. And their relationship is a source of strain, drama, toxicity, and basically he has no peace whatsoever now because he attached himself to a woman that wasn't going in the same direction as he was. Now you could apply this to business. You could apply this to relationships. You could apply this to employment. When you apply for a job, are you asking yourself, does this really align with my principles, my values, and who I am as a person? Now, when you're first starting out your career, you may have to compromise some and just do what you got to do to pay the bills. But when you develop a skill set, when you start developing as a career person, you want to attach yourself, you want to align yourself with the career that matches the direction you want to go in life. It just can't be money motivated, because you will experience burnout and tension, and that job will become a burden. That relationship will become a burden. Now, here's where people miss, okay? You got to ask yourself, is this person sharing the same load as I am? Is this person going in the direction that I am going? And that's more valuable than attraction. And granted, you have to have some level of attraction to your partner. But what's more attractive is shared values, shared direction, shared principles, shared morals and ethics, shared vision about your future. When my daughter was dating, she actually started dating this individual and she was ecstatic about him. And I sensed it from the beginning. I said, whoa, she's too excited about this. She doesn't even know this guy. And so as a father, I wanted to properly vet this individual to make sure that he was the right fit for the life that my daughter wanted. And so I took him on a long drive and we got to talking. And I didn't share anything about where I stood on any particular issue. I was a blank slate in his eyes. And I started probing and asking questions. How do you feel about this? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? What exactly is your career goals? What opportunities do you have now working in your favor? I wanted to know what direction he's seen his life going. And I shared with him about some of the things that my daughter and I have talked about, that I know where my daughter wants to go. I know the areas of the career path that she wanted to explore. I know the basic income level that she wanted to reach. And I wanted to see if they were aligned, because she's blinded by this new relationship. She was enthusiastic, and sometimes when you're in a new relationship, you could overlook some things. You could see potential, but potential means nothing. You got to see how they react under pressure. Do they still show up when it costs them something? How do they handle pressure? How do they problem solve? How do they handle finances? What's their views in politics? What's their views of their relationship with God, or do they even have one? You see, these are all the questions that you need to ask yourself before attaching yourself to someone who may not be aligned with you. You see, the Bible is very specific in this case. In Amos, I believe it's in chapter 3, I'll put it up on the screen. It says, "Can two walk together unless they be in agreement?" You see, physical attraction only lasts for so long. Age, children, gravity begin to take effect sooner than you think. And what you initially were attracted to about her, if it's physical, that's a shallow attraction, man. You got to be attracted to the person she is. You got to be attracted to the direction she's going. You got to be attracted to who she is as a woman, who she is as her person in totality, not just the packaging. Because I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you, things begin to wear down. And when that attraction leaves, that physical attraction, you have to be attracted to something more deeper. And that's where the yoke, that's where the shared values, shared morals, shared vision, shared future for your lives begin to blossom. That's where that kicks in, because if it's just physical, man, you're defeating yourself. I know, let me get some coffee. I know of individuals who entered into business relationships with people that they thought they were aligned with. And come to find out, one person was putting in more effort than the other, and the relationship began to get strained, and that business agreement that was promising and thought would make them a lot of money began to become a burden. And they had to abandon the relationship. They had to start all over, which could have been prevented if they just did some proper vetting, if they took the time to really get to know the person before entering into a relationship, a business relationship. Now, a life partner relationship is even more deeper, more intense, more serious than a business relationship. I mean, you're talking about starting a family with this individual. You're talking about having children and building your legacy. And this woman's going to carry your DNA into the future. How could you not really get to know her and see what she stands for? See what she stands on. Who is she as a person? How does she handle conflict? What's her history like? Some of the ways you can prevent misalignment or being unequally yoked is to really take your time, slow down, and get to know this person. How do they handle pressure? When things get difficult, do they stay steady? When it costs them something, are they still going to show up? When nobody is applauding, do they still do the right thing? You know, character matters way more than charisma. Character matters way more than beauty. Because if you're basing your relationship just on those things, it's so superficial, and the slightest annoyance and the slightest argument is going to tear that relationship apart because it was only bound by a very superficial thing. You want to be able to walk together and plow the fields of life together. And when things get hard, you could turn to your side and look at your mate, look at your partner and say, we got this. We're in the same direction. Remember the common goal. Remember the shared vision. Remember the shared future that we viewed for each other. This is what's binding us. This is what's going to keep us going when the plowing gets tough. Because once that yoke is on, the consequences get expensive. Emotionally, financially, spiritually, and sometimes all three. Don't trust first impressions. Trust pattern behavior. You got to really understand that to know this individual, you got to see him in different elements. You got to see him or her in different environments, how they move, how they operate. Because when you're dating somebody, everybody's putting their best foot forward. Nobody's revealing the real them, the true person of who they are. Because they want to date you. But don't mistake potential for proof of character. So the real question is not who do you want to be with? The real question is, where are they headed? And are you headed there too? Because if the answer is no, that tension, that burden will show up eventually. And you'll be stuck, dragging an ass around. When two lives share the same yoke, direction matters more than strength. You can pull harder, you can try harder, you can force a pace for a while, but eventually it'll be revealed that this person is not going in the same direction as you. And so take your time, watch, observe, don't fall in love with potential or charisma, recognize pattern behavior, and really talk and vet this person and see if they're going in the same direction as you are in life. Don't be one of those ones that are sitting with a broken yoke and no one help to pull the load, because by that time, it'll be too late. Thank you for watching. Don't be unequally yoked. Can two walk if they're not in agreement? No, they can't. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.
Thank you for joining us. We hope today's episode has sparked your curiosity and offered you new insights into the human experience. If you enjoyed the episode, please consider subscribing and sharing it with others who might find value in our content. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so feel free to leave a comment and a thumbs up. Until next time, keep exploring, reflecting, and finding meaning in your own unique journey. Safe travels, and we'll see you on the next episode.